Hi, I'm Dr. Lydia Knudsen, developer of Axial Stability Method, an emerging new chiropractic approach to human biomechanics. If you are just tuning in now, please go back to the beginning of this series to get caught up. So, ASM 1, 2, 3. We're now on number 3, recalibrating the muscles of the kinetic chain. Once we stabilize the sacroiliac joints, we must then address the rest of the kinetic chain and all the muscle adaptations that have arisen from the original failure of the foundational shock absorption system. Injury to the sacroiliacs often happen as early as childhood, so the muscle adaptation patterns have been in use for decades when a patient walks through our door for the first time. If we understand that the most basic biomechanical action of the sacroiliac joint and the body as a whole is shock absorption, which is called nutation, and rebound, called counternutation, then we can apply this same binary division to the whole muscle system. Nearly every muscle in the body can be sorted into either a nutator or a counternutator. So let's recap. Nutators are most active during weight bearing, driving the sacroiliac joint towards the bottom point of shock absorption. Counternutators become most active at the bottom point of shock absorption to lift the sacrum and ilium into rebound. Both of these activities are a whole body endeavor engaging muscles of the arms, legs, and whole spine. I think of the nutators as the gravity muscles and the counternutators as the anti-gravity muscles. So in ASM, once we have the sacroiliac foundation stabilized, using an activator and whole body activation patterns, we recalibrate the muscles for nutation and counternutation. And we do this in different positions. First, we recalibrate the muscles supine and prone, then sitting, and then standing. Not everyone needs all of this recalibration. It depends upon how ingrained and dysfunctional the body's adaptive patterns are. What is interesting, though, is everyone needs the activation patterns for counternutation. Counternutation is the energy-guzzling phase of gait, when muscles must fire up, rebounding the whole structural system from the pull of gravity. It is the defying gravity moment of every step. Nutation, on the other hand, we adjust much less frequently. It seems the main problem with the muscles of nutation is recalibrating them so they don't go too far. This concept of dividing muscles into one of two categories, nutation, counternutation, may seem bizarrely simple-minded. But if we agree that the main challenge of any biological system is the management of gravity, this division becomes much more interesting. Getting back to the ligamento-muscular reflex. When ligaments sprain, they do so as a unit and directly alter muscular programming to avoid further stress on the ligaments. In other words, the ligaments act to protect themselves and use the muscles to do it. This is the ligamento-muscular reflex. Not surprisingly, adaptive ligamento-muscular reflex patterns to protect injured joints usually facilitate the counternutators and inhibit the nutators. This adaptation can be true for almost any joint. Injury in any joint tends to happen at the maximum point of shock absorption. So, once a joint is injured, the muscles that drive the joint into shock absorption become inhibited, while the rebound muscles remain in a constant state of increased attention in preparation for safer movement. But whether in a state of tension or a state of inhibition, muscles that are not functioning normally can become painful. Let's take an example I spoke about in ASM Principles Explained Part 5, an ankle sprain and the resulting limp. In this case, the limp is a shutting down of the muscles of nutation, the weight-bearing muscles, and a facilitation of the counternutators, the anti-gravity muscles, all to protect the injured ankle joint. Most people who come through our doors with chronic pain have extensive patterns of muscular adaptation. Whether it is inhibited nutators or over-facilitated counternutators, whatever their complaints, we must first restore the core shock absorption sacroiliac system, then recalibrate the nutators and counternutators. And then we reevaluate. Does the patient still have symptoms? Are there more layers of adaptations? With complex injury, usually there are. But it is remarkable how very many complaints are resolved through restoring the functioning of this fundamental nutation-counter-nutation system.